So I think the first big challenge is we're going to be, the data is crucial, right? So we're going to be processing data on both sides, supplier and the retailer, or the partner and retailer, and they're going to be working to different formats, different data types, all about the same information. Plus, all of the systems are working to different speeds and timelines. And so the first piece is actually how do we match up the different pieces of data here? A simple example is in customer name, right? One company may refer to you as Pat Brands, another company may refer to you as Mr. Pat Brands. So actually, are you the same person or a different person? How do we manage to notice that? And I think, this is where we can start to apply automation to begin to work through a number of these different mismatches to say, actually, you know what? Here's the rules that we're going to apply to make sure that we can connect this data effectively, continually as well, in particular areas where we've got this hugely time critical nature as well. So I think, that yes, there is a bare minimum of getting the data through to say, oh, okay, we've got this parcel flowing through or this order flowing through. But actually, how can we do that more effectively? How can we make sure that, yes, the parcel's flowing through, but the data is flowing through and backwards as well to power up things like notifications, like we were just talking about. And again, many retailers want to do this, but it can be a struggle to connect all of these different data sources, particularly as you go out to multiple couriers all at once. And often what we see is an intermediary taking place so that it essentially acts as a third-party integrator of data. But with data automation, there's no reason not to start to think about how do we do this all in-house. We know what it is we want to do. We know the customer notifications that we'd ideally send. We know the notifications to the operation that we'd ideally send, and we can make that all happen. Well, there's loads of data pipelines, right? And if we break it into three broad elements, each with multiple miniature pipelines in, if you like. So sales and finances is the first one, the flow of money. The second one is around stock, so the flow of physical product. And the third one is around customer. And I think there's probably a hidden fourth one, which we'll get to in just a moment, which is emerging. And so all of these data pipelines, like I say, they all have smaller pipes within them. And it's important to really understand, well, what is the plumbing? Where are they going from and to? What is the processing that needs to happen along the route? And how do we, as we were talking about earlier as well, how do we get to that single source of truth for all three of those pipelines? So a single source of truth about the customer, or about stock, or about sales and finance. Again, I've lost count of the number of times I've been in trading meetings where we've been talking about sales figures and we've got two different numbers for the same period, which even here today in 2024 still happens, although it seems semi-bonkers to me that we're still having those discussions. Now, I mentioned a fourth pipeline that I think is an emerging pipeline, which is all about the environmental and ethical aspects that are coming in to really understand, well, how does everything flow through the supply chain and through all of the sourcing routes? And I talk about everything in a really broad manner because that could be everything from the material sources, how much water was used in the production of the cotton that creates this garment, or where were the animals raised and bred in this particular piece of beef mince, let's say. We need to think about how does all of that as data flow through to all of the different data sources, whether that be, compliance reporting, whether that be for customer information as customers want to learn more and see more visibility around the operations of the business. Yeah, this is a great topic. My view is, first and foremost, the CIO should be totally aligned, and the entire tech department should be totally aligned with the business, right? In terms of the main business performance reporting. So this could be all of the classic measures, right? Sales, P&Ls, customer experience measures, but there are also likely to be some more leading measures as well, not just the lagging ones. So elements like availability or perhaps a delivery on time report. So CIOs and the business should be focused on both of those elements together, or all of those elements together. CIOs should also be thinking, therefore, about how do we look further upstream? How do we think about the leading measures for all of those, even if they are leading? What are the leading measures for availability, for example, that we can start to get a hang on to alert the business when something isn't quite right? It needs to be thinking about making sure that systems, which are so crucial to the business operations, continue to flow through. And again, thinking more in that leading rather than lagging style as well. So thinking about whether it's bandwidth or responsiveness, whether it's human intervention, something like that. And also elements like service tickets as well is a really crucial element, because having service ticket reporting is a great way for the CIO to help understand where does the business need the most help? Where do they need the most attention? And that might be from a technical solution point of view, but it might be from a human training point of view as well, for example. So it allows a sensible conversation. And really, it's important for CIOs to be proactive within the organization, to be able to say, look, here's this opportunity, here's something coming down the line, here is something we can do better. It's similar to what we were talking about data. How do we change the future for the better? And a CIO's role is to really help the whole organization understand, how do we change things for the better?